Hello everybody, how are you? My name is Nairi and this is a channel all about adoption, fostering, childhood trauma, that type of stuff. And we've got two boys who are adopted. We've had them for 11 years now. And so we're hitting the teenage stage, and today is all about the kind of identity crisis that I think one of my children is going through, well, I'm pretty sure he's going through, and the latest developments. So I have my coffee with me this morning. I can't do this without the coffee. So let's talk about this. So what's been happening is at school, he's escalating more, as in he's getting into more trouble. At home, he's getting himself into trouble. I mean, to be fair to this son, he's always had a problem with regulating his emotions, a big star, and always got very angry very quickly and really struggled with so many things. So it's not that these things haven't happened before, but I've noticed things are kind of bubbling up and brewing and things like that. And it got to a point where I felt like I needed to sit him down and talk to him and see if I could get to the bottom of it. Now, most of the time he won't want to talk about anything, but he's a bit better than he used to be, so, you know. So I sat him down and I said, look, at school, you're putting yourself in the mix of causing trouble. So it's obvious what he's doing. He's provoking children to then kind of enter into a fight with him. And then he can point the finger and go, well, I didn't start it because I didn't do this first or whatever. But actually, he's in the mix of every single argument. And that's actually happened as well at youth, at church as well. So, you know, and he didn't deny it. He doesn't. The thing is about kind of pace parenting kind of thing is if you get it right, they normally don't deny it. Sorry if you hear the seagulls, they're flying around behind me. He didn't deny it. And then I was saying to him, look, I feel like you're getting more angry. And these things are happening. You're even, you know, manipulating everything at home all of the time. Again, not unusual, but escalating. And again, he didn't deny it. And I said, look, this is where you kind of got to be curious, okay? This is the C and pace. I use this one a lot. And I said, are you maybe angry? Are you feeling that because of the adoption, you're confused? You're confused about who you are and kind of whether you fit in. I said, sometimes I feel like you're even angry to be in this family, and that these things are playing on your mind, struggling, almost like you have a missing piece, like there's something missing. And I think adoptees will definitely be able to identify with this, that actually there always feels like a missing piece. And I think for us adopters, it's very hard to accept that no matter how amazing we might be as adoptive parents, how many things we try, how many strategies we have, how much we talk to our children, we can't erase the history. We can't erase the fact that they've had another family, and that is part of who they are, and this can cause them some unexplained feelings that they can't really get out there. Okay, so I'm aware of this, and I've had lots of conversations with him, but sometimes I think he's blocked wanting to talk about things, and sometimes he's blocked his feelings. So it was a bit more open this time, only slightly, but it gave me a way in. And I said, okay, is it time to meet with the Bear family? Now, I don't want to go into too much of the history, but the history is that the boys very early on didn't have contact with the Bear family because it wasn't safe. Okay, it wasn't safe for the parents, but we've continued letterbox contact with grandparents, and that's been fine. Sometimes it's happened more, sometimes it's happened less, but I think we've had a pretty good relationship with them, and I've got quite a few letters that we've exchanged, and in the end we started to exchange a few photographs as well, so that's great. Okay, we have that. I just ran out of memory on the camera. So yeah, we have that in the bag. Now I know for some of you this you know, it's not an option to get in touch with the Bear family. For some of you that's not an option. For some of you you're already in touch and it's a different story, so this is our story. Okay, so he gave me a way in, and I said to him, okay, are we at a stage now where we need to meet with some of the Bear family, the people that we know that we can meet with? And he kind of sort of half acknowledged that it might be, and we talked about the family. So he had lots of questions about the family, lots of questions about why he wasn't with them, the ones that are available to him, and you know, things that I've talked to him about many times before. So this goes to show, I think, with children, that they can only take on so much information at a certain stage of development, perhaps. Things that I definitely know I've said to him, and then other things came out which showed his confused timeline. He was saying about foster carers that we know, and that he used to live with them for a while, and I'm like, no, you've never lived with them. So yeah, lots of confusion, but some facts in there thrown in, and I needed to clarify lots of things. So it ended up being that we decided to get all the letters out for him. He wanted to do it there and then. That's my son all over. He always wants to do everything immediately, absolutely immediately, can't wait for anything. But I did flatly refuse that because it was just before bedtime, and I was like, no, we're not doing it before bedtime. So the following day we got everything out, and I also got the later life letter. So if you're in the UK, you may know what this is. It's I think it's called later life letter, or later life letter, it is called. Now this is written in a way that is not the same as your life story manual. I think that was very detailed, and some of that would be too old for them as well, but this is definitely written to an older child, and I felt like he was ready for it. So we read the whole thing, and there were a couple of things in there actually that I didn't remember and that I was surprised at, because I don't think I have read that letter. I think I'd left it. I felt like I'd had enough information. As foster carers, we knew so much that perhaps we didn't want to know. I read the letter with him. I couldn't get to the end of the letter because I was absolutely bawling my eyes out, which wasn't bad for him to see when I see what they went through, and really, yeah, what they went through and how far they've come. And it was very, very, very sad, very, very sad. And I might start again in a minute, I'll try not to. That was good. Filled in some gaps for him, and I think because it came from an official source, so it was addressed from the social worker that had the most to do with them at the time. They had 6, but had the most to do with them at the time. Then there's no doubt about that information, because when it comes from me, it's kind of questioned a bit more, but because it was from an official person, it was easier for him to accept. And then we got lots of the letters out that we'd exchanged and the photos, and he asked lots of questions around that, and I made sure I was available for that. So we were getting toward the end. I said, right, so I'm going to write a letter now then, and I'm going to suggest that we have some sort of contact. So I'll start writing this letter whilst you're finishing looking at the stuff. So I got 3/4 of the way down the letter, and I said, so how are you feeling about it? Are you feeling you want to move forward and see the family? Now I know the other son categorically has said no every time. He does not want to see any member of the family, and that's his choice. And I was very clear to my younger son that he cannot force or push the older son into going because he wants to go. And so I said, if you want to do this, I will be with you, or dad, or you know, however we want to do it, but you cannot push your brother to do this. And they do everything together. This is the thing, everything, whether it's good or bad, they are so codependent on each other, even though they don't actually get on. So I knew this would be a bit of a sticking point, but I said, you are not going to push him. So he knew that. Unfortunately, of course, he told the older son, who probably then was freaking out. Again, you know, they don't keep anything from each other really. They keep it all from us. And I said, okay, are we sending this off? And he looked at me and went, I'm going to think about it. So that, interesting, okay, you seem to have had enough information given to you, enough questions answered, so maybe you're not actually ready at all. But I think, I suppose, what I want to draw out of the video is the possibility was there. The possibility, even though actually right now we would be blowing the cover of who we are, that could open up a few risks. I'm not going to lie, it really could. I've always said to the boys, it's an open book. You are welcome to go and see some of the family if you want to. You can resume contact. We can resume contact. If you're strong enough, we can do it, but it's going to be you that's going to decide, not me. And if I feel like you're trying to decide it on the hop and you're not ready, then I would say, I would block it if I didn't think you were ready. But I do think he is ready, and I do think it is going to happen. but I'm going to go with him. So when I say he's ready, he's clearly not quite ready, but I think we're getting there. And I think it's to do with his age. He's coming up for 13. He's got lots of questions. I think sometimes as well, to see your original family and the family likeness and appearances and maybe some of the mannerisms and things like that, it could all be very important for him. He's very different from his brother as well, and so, you know, both of them have got very distinct similarities but distinct differences. So I think that he's getting there, and I think it's going to happen, and I'm ready for it. I think it will be difficult, and I think at the time it will seem okay, and then there will be lots and lots of problems afterward, but I'm ready for it. I think it's something that I've always felt he would need, and I think he will do it, and I will be there for him. So that's just the story of that. Now, we have had mammoth difficulties with this son even from there, so I'm not quite sure what I need to do now, because he's definitely closed down on the subject, and I'm not going to open it for him unless he opens it for me, because sometimes children psychologically kind of put the lid on the box and they're not ready to open it again, and so I don't want to do that for him. But I think what I'm finding, his level of control, particularly of me and manipulating situations, is absolutely top level, and being told no about anything he wants to do, or kind of regulating times, doing stuff, is resisting everything. So we're going to get back round again. I think it's going to come back round again, and maybe that will release some of this anger and difficulties that he's having, and help him to decide what his identity is. I've brought this up in another video. It's almost like when you're an adoptee, you have two different identities, but you kind of get to a point where you need to link the two together, and some people don't come to that until they're an adult. Some people have got access to birth family when they're young, and it's never been, you know, not able to do that. And so for some, teenage years is going to be the apex of all things, and I think for us that's what it's going to be. The teenage years are going to be a lot of unraveling about who they are, and what they want to pick up and take from kind of this family and the birth family and join together. So what they're trying to do in their minds is join together those sets of kind of values and sort of decide and kind of wrestle with who they are. And it's tough, really, really tough for them. I can see it's tough, but it's tough for us as well. And I'm just going to say it, it's a hard time. Teenage years is a hard time. I'm sure you know that would be the case, but also when children are trying to wrestle with their identity, or adult adoptees are trying to wrestle with their identity, there's a lot of pain there, a lot of hurt, and we need to be there to see them through that. So I hope that helps you. Chatty, I know. Check out my channel. There's lots and lots of playlists on there. Some are chatty videos like this, but a lot of them are kind of points, factual things. So if you prefer more, you know, this is the 5 points to do this, then those are there as well. So I'll link a playlist on the end for you to see, and I'll see you on Fly Little Birds. Thank you.